Hey everybody, Joe's here, show YC on the Eats Radio Network. I'm Joe Kraus, filling in by myself today. Lou Medina isn't here today, no show. So anyway, let's get to it. The Anti-Eat Center basketball bulletin. Syracuse win over Ohio State today, improving to 3-1 with their 46-35 win. Alex Quinn, 25 points, 11 rebounds. Joe Kish, 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 4 assists. For Ohio State, Trey Bowling, 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. And Trevor Buck, 16 points and 6 rebounds. For the most part, it was pretty close, I would say. Joe Kish was able to get things going. Chuck Trippy, by the way, had 11 points today. Why not that? Good job for him. They were able to get pretty much everything going like they wanted to. Alex Quinn knocking down a few jumpers, so I think that helped too. Hopefully they could keep it going. As for Ohio State, and we'll get to power rankings in just a sec, but for Ohio State, I think there's still enough time. We're only about halfway through the season. They still got a couple more games left. If they could just figure out a way, like Lou was saying last week, Trey and Trevor working together still. They're the meat and cheese, if you will, of the Ohio State sub. So I think that they could get it back. And I mean, Matt Galacky's a good coach, so I mean, he knows what he's doing. So hopefully they can bounce back. Other action, Michigan also improving 3-1 with their win over LSU, 38-33. Zach Porter, 23 points, 16 rebounds, and 4 assists. All I can say that this season so far, and Eric, you'll probably agree, that some of these stats are just astonishing. Like, you just don't think that a 7th or 8th grader could put up 20 or even 30, as we've seen with Brandon Castron early on. Like, you just don't think they can do it, and they're doing it. So, I mean, I'm starting to see why a lot of people are saying that this 8th grade class, and even some of the 7th graders, like this year, it's pretty deep with the talent. Ben Colby, 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists for the Wolverines as well. For LSU, Pat Milbrand, 11 points, rebound, 2 assists. Jordan Fox, 10 points, 1 rebound, and 2 assists in the loss. I think Michigan is, Joe Curry, he's starting to show everybody he knows how to get a game plan going. So I'd like to see, we got Zach Ware doing alley-oops now, apparently. Let's see him in practice. So I think that Michigan could make a run for the title. But again, there's still a lot of time left. LSU, they still have a lot of time, a couple weeks, hopefully with Derek Bloomfield back next week on the sidelines. Maybe he could get something sparked up again. And our last game, North Carolina getting their first win of the season over Florida, 26-18. They were able to contain Brandon Castron today. It was 2-2 at the end of the first quarter, so you can probably sense how slow it was. But again, congratulations to North Carolina. Mitch Jackman was able to get another win. Probably not the way that he would like to get it, but congratulations. All right, let's get to the power rankings, folks. Starting at number 6, LSU. And here's why. And because when we saw, at the beginning of the season, when I saw their roster with Pat Milbrand and Austin Tober and Jordan Fox and all those guys, they looked pretty good. And right now, I'm getting the sense that they're not ready to play. Like, they're not playing like they're supposed to be playing. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if something's just not working out between Pat and Jordan, because they looked pretty fine today. But I'm just getting the sense that they're just not in it yet. Hopefully they're probably going to turn it around, but I just think that they're gonna have to work hard, and they're gonna have to turn it around. Coming in at number 5, North Carolina. Again, it's sort of like LSU, but Colby Moultrie having another day. But I think that they need to get the whole thing going, because at the end of the first quarter, it was 2-2. They probably could have had at least 10 points at the end of that first quarter. So with all the shots that they missed, those wins. So I think in North Carolina, needs to start making some more shots and getting some rebounds and start passing around. Because in the first quarter, it was basically it was Kobe had the ball the whole time, except for once when Jay Morano had it. I mean, you gotta feed it to some other guys, if you want to be successful. Number 4, Florida, and I know some people are probably gonna be screaming their heads off, but here's why. When you're facing a winless team and you're undefeated, it's sort of, Yanni knows what he's doing this year, so thank goodness he picked a very good draft, and I've been praising him for that. But I think that they're going to be able to bounce back next week, but I think that for a little bit it's going to be a little bitter in their mouths because they lost to a winless team, but I think that they're going to bounce back by next week. Number 3, Ohio State. Even though they had the loss, they were going up against Syracuse, and I know it was pretty hard for Matt Galacki to go up against his former player, Alex Quinn, who he lost in the draft. But I think that, like we said earlier, I think that if they could get Trey and Trevor going like they are, and then get the rest of the players working together, I think that they could go pretty far if they can do that. Number 2, Syracuse. So far so good for them. That's all I can basically say. Eric knows what he's doing. He's been around for a long time. So, hopefully, they can keep doing what they're doing, and Alex can keep putting up those numbers, and Chuck keeps putting up 10 plus points per game. So I think that they could also make a run too if they put their minds to it. And number 1, congratulations to Joe Curry and the Michigan Wolverines. Their start. I know they lost to Syracuse earlier, but the way that they've been playing the past couple of weeks, they're starting to play like a team. There really hasn't been any rift between the teammates, and they're being able to run the floor with Ward and Colby working together. And their bench is pretty solid too. With their supporting cast with Brandon Giuliano putting up some good numbers, and Dylan Patterson doing pretty good for a 7th grader in a very, very tough league. And Sam Ryan Sutherland for Florida, I also want to mention that. I think that he should get a little more with the ball, scoring-wise, but I think he knows what his role is, being the Steve Silsby point guard sort of guy, so I think they can do that. Alright, coming up next, we're going to have highlights from the Jacks games from Niagara Falls. It was a little ugly, but why the varsity team's going to be able to take that loss and turn it into a win next week. That and more. Joe Shea Show, West Here. Joe Shea Show, West Here on the Youth Center Radio Network, brought to you by the Lossies. Joe filling in today without Louie, which is pretty fine because, I have a lot of things to talk about today. But anyway, Jacks varsity team losing to Niagara Falls last night, 81-35. There were a few impressive dunks by Niagara Falls. The alley-oop pass was my favorite. Too bad nobody had it on camera because we would show it to you guys. But anyway, Ian Gilhausen, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. Chris Word, 8 points, 2 rebounds, assists, and 3 blocks. Nehemiah Stone, 7 points, 3 rebounds, and 5 assists. But Joe Petrowski, I don't know what was going on yesterday, and hopefully he can get it turned around because they really need him to produce. 0 points, rebound, a steal, and a deflection. Jacks fall at 6-6 on the season. They're now 5-3 in divisional play. They play Ken West on Friday at home at the Steel Alumni Center, following the JV game. Here's why, and I know that they were playing against Niagara Falls, number 1 team in the state, but being around in this position for a long time, I've seen lots of games. Here at the Youth Center especially, tons of blowouts. And when you're down 20, and I understand they're the number 1 team, congratulations to them for working hard. But when you're down 20-2 in the first quarter, you're most likely not going to win. And they were, like Coach Mount said yesterday, they can do some stuff that we can't, but they're going to be able, he said, he thinks that they're going to be able to turn around and eventually get to the level that the Wolverines are next year, possibly 2 years. But I think that they're going to be able to use this as an example going down the road and win on Friday and get pretty far in the playoffs. And Louis and I disagreed about this last week, saying that they just don't have it yet. But I think they're gonna make a good run. So that's that. Also, Bills making some news this week, hiring their assistants, Donnie Henderson, defensive backs coach, former defensive coordinator of the Jets and the Lions, Chuck Driesbeck, the linebacker coach, 36 years at the college level, so he really has a lot of experience on that. Eagles, hiring Chip Kelly. I like that move. Hopefully they can get someone, and Bears hiring Mark Trestman. So let's see what he can do. Hockey's starting up again for the Sabres. I think we're going to get the win tomorrow against the Flyers. For hockey, I really don't like saying what the final score is going to be, because 99.9% of the time I'm wrong. But I think that they're going to get the win. It's going to be exciting. I'm glad that Mikhail Grigorenko, the rookie, is going to be on the team tomorrow. Hopefully Gerben McCoy get back from the injured reserve. But I'd like to see how it all turns out, and hopefully Steve Ott can do what he brought from Dallas to Buffalo, and hopefully Ryan Miller. He's had time to relax, so I don't think the pressure's gonna be on him this year. So that's that. Alright, that's gonna do it for us today. Hopefully Lily will be here next week. Next week we'll have more highlights from NC Youth Center, JX basketball, Chicago Sabres, and some football. I got the Ravens winning over the Patriots, even though Tom Brady's going to have a heck of a game, but I think Ray Lewis is going to get to the Super Bowl. And then in the NFC, I think it's going to be the Niners over the Falcons. Alright, that's going to do it for me. See you later. Watch the Youth Center right now.